yourself, please?
Right, so my name is Gary Millar, and I'm here in the Central Library in Liverpool City Centre in the Business and Intellectual Property Centre, which is otherwise called the BIPC.
Now, the last time we saw you was for an interview. It was probably about 10 years ago, and you were the Lord Mayor of Liverpool, weren't you?
I was, 10 years ago, almost to the day. Yes, I was elected into Liverpool City Council in 2008 during the European Capital of Culture, and however it happened, I became the Cabinet Member for Culture and Enterprise. Enterprise meaning business. And then fast forward to 2013, May the 23rd, I became Lord Mayor of this amazing city, and it was a wonderful experience. And the Lord Mayor, if you're not sure what that means, is basically you get to wear the gold chain and you open events. You attend and speak at conferences, you welcome international delegates, you work with veterans, and you go and visit and help schools from infant through to junior, through to secondary school, and also special educational needs schools. And importantly, you are enabled to raise money for charity, and that was something I thoroughly enjoyed doing, helping local good causes by working with great people. And that was 2013-14. You only do it for 1 year, and I was so lucky to do it 10 years ago.
You've got a very heavy background in culture because you were involved with Parr Street.
I was.
And you've recently had the Fashion Hub, which has only just recently closed.
Yeah, the Fashion Hub as a organisation has closed because when I created it, we're in the library now. For many years, people would come to me and say, Gary, I've learned how to make clothes, to do fashion, but I don't know where to start in business. I don't know where to start with finding, sourcing products, what they call the supply chain. So I kind of thought about this, and I thought we need a place in which to create creative workshops, an incubation centre, maybe a runway somewhere to people to do fashion shows. So I built one of my own money, with no help from anyone, and we created the Fashion Hub in starting July 2017, but we really opened for business in 2018, and it kind of was really successful, but always for 5 years. So the lease we signed was for 5 years. It was a 5-year exit strategy, and that came to an end this year, and then somebody else has taken it on and is making it bigger and making it better. So the whole concept hasn't gone, it's just that somebody else now has the opportunity to put their money into it and their ambition and their dreams into it, and good luck to them. I am happy to do that, and although we put our money into it, I was happy to do that because it was never about financial gain, it was about helping others. In my mantra, paying it forward, not wanting a thank you, not wanting applause, but wanting other people to do what kind of things that I do to take it forward, and that's what somebody is doing now in the place where the Fashion Hub was based.
What are you doing now though? Because the Think Starting Business campaign that you're doing, what is it?
Well, going back to when I first came to Liverpool, I studied business and computing. And that means for many years, I've been helping on a free of charge basis thousands of people set up businesses, improve businesses, grow businesses. And those businesses from the 1980s to today, through the Business and Intellectual Property Centre, through Central Library, through my Entrepreneur in Residence Clinic, and also the work that we do in partnership with the Merseyside Enterprise Hub, is to basically pay it forward, to listen to people who've got great ideas, who want to go into business, to give them impartial, independent advice, to do more listening than talking, and connect them to people that can help them make their business more successful. So this is what I'm doing today, and it's purely on a voluntary basis. It's not funded by anybody. It's not a government service. I created this particular form of the Entrepreneur in Residence Business Clinic in February of 2015, when I also co-founded the Business and Intellectual Property Centre here in the library, and also in the same year was one of the initial founders of the Merseyside Enterprise Hub. And we have gone on through what we do here to help well over 6,500 people through the Enterprise Hub, through the library, and through the Business and Intellectual Property Centre. And personally, Gary Millar has sat in front of, as almost we're doing today to camera, I've sat in front of 3,600 and a bit more individuals since 2015, listening to their ideas and hopefully connecting them with the right people to take them to the next stage of their business. And it might be to open the business, it might be to get finance, it might be to get a patent, it might be to look at their branding or importing or marketing, exporting, or payroll, human resources, accounting, or access to money, to finance, to actually fund their business. So we cover a lot of things. Now, it's important for me to say, Gary doesn't do it on his own. We have up to 40 volunteers who have joined me in my Entrepreneur in Residence, set up my business clinic. Those 40 individuals have come here to support me week after week after week. And today we have 3 of them with us who are here to help us help those businesses. And I think it's wonderful that people want to volunteer to help for no financial gain week after week. And I think we should all do more of that, because it makes the world a better place with good people doing good things for good people.
With your vision coming up and all the things that go with it, how do you think that's going to impact on business in Liverpool?
Well, how is any event, any cultural event, going to help businesses? Well, the first thing is to be honest and say it's not going to be suitable, appropriate for every single business. But if you're a tour guide, if you're a taxi driver, if you're a hotel operator, if you run a bar or a restaurant or a cafe, wow, it's going to help create jobs, pay wages, put food on the table for you, and actually hopefully make some profit. And maybe that profit can go back into creating more jobs and expanding the business and adding more product. So not every business is going to benefit. But actually you might say, well, not every business might benefit, but residents living in Walton, Woolton, Kirkdale, Everton, Old Swan, all parts of the city and all parts of the region, the city region, actually will have somebody working in a hotel, in a bar, in a cafe, in a taxi, and so on. So actually there is a big impact in terms of helping pay those jobs. And actually what we need is more business. And if I go back to the first part of our conversation, and you did ask about culture, I was first elected in 2008 and became the cabinet member, a decision maker. Although all the hard work had been done, I can't take credit for this. It was an amazing success, but it wasn't down to Gary. Is that I said are better days ahead of us through tourism, through what they call the visitor economy. And I kind of thought something's going to happen. So in those days, in 2008, Liverpool and the city region employed 22,500 people in bars, restaurants, cafes, hotels, etc. in the visitor economy. Remember, 22,500 people. 30 million people came to the city region that year for the European Capital of Culture. Fast forward to 2019, just before COVID hit us, 60,000 people working, not 22,500, 60,000, with 10 times more hotels, with almost 10 times more hotel rooms being used by visitors, with an arena and a convention centre, and over £1.5 billion being spent in the area because of the arena and convention centre alone, is that actually from 30 million to 69 million visitors in 2019, tourism and visitors are a mainstay for our jobs and our hospitality businesses. They're not necessarily going to help manufacturers, they're not necessarily going to help scientists, they're not necessarily going to help academics and education people and whatever, but other things that complement all of that will. And the more money that's coming into the city, the more jobs that get created and the more money gets invested locally. So when I first moved to the city, Liverpool city centre had less than 1,500 people living in the city centre. Today, in 2023, you're talking about 35,000 people living in the city centre, which why you can then explain that Liverpool 1 shopping area and Bowl Street and Church Street and Lord Street is some of the most successful shopping and retail market in the entire country, because there's more people shopping, more people visiting, more hotels. One of the most welcoming, friendliest cities in the country is here in Liverpool, only beaten by London and Edinburgh, and then it's here in terms of visitors. So culture and its attractions in our waterfront, in our buildings, in our statues, in our monuments, and actually more importantly, our people, our honesty, our grit, our humour, our hard-working city, actually is hugely entrepreneurial. And it comes back to why we're in a library talking about supporting businesses. And if you look behind me, there's business guides and there's research machines and there's people willing to help you go into business. And it doesn't have to be culture. It doesn't have to be arts and creativity. It could be those scientists. It could be these health and well-being individuals who've got great ideas, social enterprises that want to help you and I do good and pay it forward in the city, in the region, in the north and the whole of the United Kingdom. It's a great place to do business. And actually, if you look at the figures for the new businesses created in Liverpool, we're actually doing really well. If you look at Companies House statistics, we are doing well in creating businesses. What we're not doing well always is supporting enough businesses. The support is there. You've got the Combined Authority and the Growth Platform. You've got the Merseyside Enterprise Hub, Chambers of Commerce, downtown in Liverpool, Federation of Small Businesses, BNIs, Institute of Directors, the CBI, the Confederation of British Industry. There's all these support agencies helping you get into business. What we're not good at is talking about it. And that means is not everybody's comfortable telling me about what they want to do in their business, because I might take it away from them. I might go into competition with them. And actually what you find out from things like this is partnership working and the ability to listen and help and support means something really important, because evidence shows if you're a new business, 60% and possibly more of your businesses in the first 3 years will go into liquidation, they will close. Think if you put all your savings, your pension, your family money, the money out of the bank that you put into the business, and you're going to fail, 60% will fail within 3 years. Except if you get support from people, if you reach out and ask for help and get somebody like me and others to listen to you, and all the agencies and all the membership groups that I just mentioned before, and there are more, is actually pick up the phone or come to the library or contact the Merseyside Enterprise Hub or the growth platform and say, I need help. Don't be frightened to ask for help. There's no such thing as a stupid question. Ring somebody, visit somebody, your bank manager, your accountant, a lawyer, somebody, and say, I need some help. And there are loads of people willing to help. That's 60%. Reduces massively, and depending on how it's done. How many businesses will fail that get help within that first 3 years? 5%. Not 60, not 60%. 5% might fail in 3 years. So actually, that proves, evidence shows, with support, with hand-holding, with you being willing to reach out, your business will be safeguarded by getting that help. We all need a friend to talk to, a shoulder to cry on, somebody to reach out to, and it could be a whole batch of people, and it might be a family member, it might be Dream High. Dream High is an amazing organisation who, from the community, bottom up, not top down, not politicians telling you what you should do in business, a one size fits all. The size that fits all is, I want businesses who are high growth to grow better, to be bigger. I also want more businesses starting, and I want to respect those businesses that have started to grow and continue beyond 3 years. And that's why I'm so passionate about doing this for nothing, for no financial gain. And that's the same with our volunteers and the Enterprise Hub and the Growth Platform and a whole batch of others, because I want you to succeed and not fail, because that's more jobs and more money into our communities. So you asked about culture and Eurovision, and I've gone on a big rant about supporting lots of businesses. Events matter. They spotlight your city, they make people feel good, and they make people looking outside in thinking, I want to visit, and maybe I want to invest in a scientist, or in a university, or in a manufacturing business, or in a hotel, or a bar, or a cafe, or I might just want to visit them. I might want to come here for a short break. That's why Eurovision is important. It safeguards jobs in the long term, it safeguards businesses in the long term. Not everyone will be impacted on it, but the add-on impact is that it makes the city look amazing. The spotlight will be on us in front of 160 million people. Can you just imagine? You couldn't pay for the advertising for that. You couldn't go to all the newspapers in the world and put a big advert. You couldn't afford to do it. Now Eurovision comes, and actually it's going to cost some money to do, but we're going to reap the benefits and the dividends long term, no matter what it costs, because actually it's minimal compared to the impact it will have in the long term.
Thank you. And if anybody wants to find out more or come along, is the business group here available to people outside of Liverpool?
We have had visitors genuinely from the Isle of Man, from Yorkshire, from the Midlands, from London, who come here to Liverpool to find us. They've read about us, they've heard about us, and they want to come here. When do they come? They come on a Thursday. Every Thursday to Central Library, Liverpool City Centre, William Brown Street, 2 minutes from Lime Street Station, next to St George's Hall and the World Museum. They come on a Thursday between 1 and 4 o'clock. Not only do they get business guidance, there are also people here from Liverpool in Work. They are independent to us, but Liverpool in Work if you're looking for a job. And there are people here come from social prescribing, looking after your health and well-being as well. So there's lots of things happening in the library. I would ask you to check the library's website and look for Central Library, and it lists the fact that we're here, the times we're here, it's 1 o'clock till 4 every Thursday, but also it tells you when the workshops have been taking place, when there's a workshop on marketing, when there's a workshop in patents or intellectual property or branding or copywriting and such. So it's all listed on the website. But you're guaranteed that Gary and his volunteers will be here every Thursday forever from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. So pop down and see us. It's on the first floor in the Business and Intellectual Property Centre. And go on the website, and there's also an email address to send an email to actually ask further information as well.
Lastly, do they need to book in?
For the business and intellectual, for the enterprise or the entrepreneur in residence clinic, no, it's a drop-in service. So my service, my business clinic with my volunteers paying it forward, is a drop-in. So you might have to wait 15 minutes if it's busy. Unlikely, because we've got enough volunteers here to kind of do almost like a triage service where you'll see one and then you might see another person within the same range of volunteers, because you may have 2 questions, but there's always people here to cope with the number of people that come in. So that's why it's meant to be free and easy and viral led, and it kind of works that way better. And people, I mean, this library gets 2,500 visitors a day, every single day, and a number of those will be in the BIPC, the Business Intellectual Property Centre. They might visit, and you should visit, the Picton Reading Room and the Hornby Library, and actually find out about the workshops that are on the top floor, and then visit the terrace and look onto St John's Garden and look onto St George's Hall. This is one of the most beautiful libraries in the country, if not the world, and it's here. We should be proud of that in Liverpool. But the BIPC also runs in what they call Halton, on the Wirral, in Knowsley, St Helens, and in Sefton as well. So other libraries have their own BIPCs, so you don't all have to come to those for business help. But for this session, the business clinic, the entrepreneur in residence, which is what I run and what I created back in 2015, it's here in Central Library. But your question was, do they come from where? They come from all over the country to come here and get advice.
Thank you, and good luck.
Thank you so much.